Is your child trying to manipulate you? The 101 on CPR. Jugerisa in your little ones. And all this and more, including Dishy Daddy, Rapper Reason. It's all coming up on Raising Babies 101. And my lovely studio audience. Our hopola hengwana how abua mantswe hai apele kapa athoma go bua le wena. Baby's first words and speaking are special and important, but what happens when these are hindered or delayed? I'm joined in studio by speech therapist Samantha Smith to break this down further. Welcome, Samantha.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about speech development. I have a 2.5-year-old son, and for some reason there is this pressure on me that my son should be forming whole sentences at this age. Is there a particular age where children should start speaking, and when should a parent be concerned?
Okay, well, there's a number of red flags that we look for, and obviously at each specific age, a child should be reaching certain developmental milestones. Typically, we would like children to be saying their first word around about 1 year of age, and that could be any word, as long as it's something consistently used. I mean, my son's first word was Dida for Hardida, so it doesn't necessarily have to be Mama or Dada. By about 2 years of age, sort of 18 months to 2 years of age, that's when we want them to start putting words together. So things like mommy go, daddy car, come here, you know, that would typically be what we're expecting for that sort of age group. And then obviously from there, the complexity of their sentences will then increase.
When should a parent like myself start getting concerned that my son's not saying things in the right, you know?
Well, there's a couple of major red flags that I would look for. The first would be before a year, if your child is not sharing eye contact with you, not playing or doing pretend play, not doing sort of what we call turn taking, so playing games like peekaboo, you know, where you say boo and then baby responds back and waits for you to do it again. Exactly, that's often a very typical sign. Things like pointing to objects that they want before they start to use those first words. So those would be red flags for us, that there might be a bit of a gap. Also, for example, things like speech clarity. If you notice that your child by sort of 3 years of age, strangers are really struggling to understand about 80% of what your child is saying. They should understand about 80% of what your child is saying. And by 4 years of age, your child should be fully intelligible. So they should be speaking in terms of clarity as well as you and I as adults would. Obviously, there's certain speech errors that are very typical, but you should still be able to understand the child fully.
Another thing I also found as a parent, it's interesting, is that, of course, I want my child to know English, but also I've asked for help in teaching him Sepedi as well. Does a child of a younger age find it difficult to switch between languages? And would you advise that a child stick with one language in early development, or can a child be taught several languages from a young age?
Multiple languages, there's no problem with children learning more than one language. Generally, what we try and advise is that one parent sticks to one language and the other parent sticks to another language, just so that they get a nice, good, you know, foundation across both. Where we get concerned, for example, and what used to happen in the past, back in the apartheid era, is when children would be learning their mother tongue and then they would go to school and then all of a sudden the family would stop speaking the mother tongue and the child would only be exposed to English. That then created a situation of what we called was subtractive bilingualism, where children actually developed language learning problems, not because they were atypically developing, but because of the exposure and the fact that that mother tongue was taken away from them.
What are the causes of slow development in children when it comes to speech therapy?
It depends. Generally, there can be a range of factors. It could be genetic. So we do find, for example, with autism, that often it is hereditary, and you do find that you can have siblings. And there's a lot of research now to say that about 80 to 90% of cases are hereditary or genetic in nature. It also could be for things like problems during the birthing process. So children who haven't had enough exposure or have a lack of exposure to oxygen when they've been born. And yeah, also, for example, lack of stimulation can sometimes also cause language learning gaps. So it really is, dependent.
When you search, when should you go and ask for help? And when you do get help, what kind of help will this be?
Okay, so we say as soon as you become concerned, seek advice from a communication professional, either at your local clinic or you can go obviously within private practice as well, sooner rather than later. There's huge amounts of research from organisations like the National Institute for Clinical Excellence, which advocates that the sooner children receive therapy, children can come from early as 1 year or even 6 months of age, depending on what your concerns are. The sooner they receive therapy, the shorter they're in therapy for, and the better their longer-term outcome.
And your number one advice to parents, what would it be?
Early intervention and talk.
Talk. Thank you so much, Samantha, for painting a nice picture on the importance of talking to your children and just getting them exposed. The biggest thing I took out of this is the fact that children can learn more than one language easily. I love that. Thank you so much, Samantha. We have learned a lot about speech therapy and why ili botoka. Let's continue this conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But now it's time for You Decide. Are you finding that more than often you are a victim of your child's manipulation? What are the repercussions of giving into your child's manipulative nature? We hit the streets to find out what some of you think. Harshebe.
Umntwana uyakumanipulate if ungamvumela ukuthi let's say ufuna something uyeza kimi, mama I need this, let's say maybe sise shop, mama can you buy me this, anginayo imali, then uzoqala ukukhala. Angimvumeli umntwana yenza into enjalo. Mina umntwana ngiyamnikeza umthetho ukuthi mntana manje imali anginayo, you have to understand.
I'd say yes, children are very manipulative. They have different ways of doing it. They throw tantrums, they try and make you feel bad.
Yeah, sometimes they do. They manipulate a lot. But sometimes you just have to ignore our manipulations. But sometimes kunzima. Because you feel as if so you just want to show good to sometimes my manipulator, you do those things.
Yeah, banga manipulate about baby, but then it depends about baby or never could react after manipulation and never could react.
You don't allow them to, and sometimes you simply ignore. Like a child will just throw themselves on the floor. It's like, I want this, blah, blah, blah. Like, give me one look, and that's it.
Some very interesting comments there, huh? I'm joined in studio by clinical psychologist Bradley Daniels to break this down a bit further. Welcome, Bradley.
Thank you so much for having me, Carol.
Manipulation or can you explain to us exactly into?
Okay, so let's understand manipulation just in a very basic way, firstly, right? So manipulation, if we look at just the linguistic, it doesn't even have to be English. It can be any language that our viewers are speaking or that they use in their home. So we are saying it is one person's act of construing or misconstruing events or sequence of events or facts in order to have a desired outcome. So that is manipulation.
All right, so to have a desired outcome.
So children have their minds develop with time. So even little babies, the only way they communicate with you is they cry.
And that's what I was actually going to ask you. My son, for example, cannot really manipulate me. However, when he cries consistently because I say, don't do this or don't do that, manipulation.
So when a baby is an infant, an infant will cry. It'll cry from day one. So it cries, it's like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, there's something going on. It doesn't know what it is uncomfortable with. It is signaling to the parent, something is not right with me. Please take a look. And you check, is it dry? Is it wet? Has it eaten? Is there fever? What's going on? Why is it crying? So as a child progresses now to, for example, your age, 2.5, maybe language has now started a little bit. Gives me a sense your child can direct you. Milk, I'm dry, I need to go to the bathroom or whatever the case may be. Fine. But at the same time, children are born, as we all are as individuals, we're born with the ability to read environments. So without language, so we don't have the language yet. No? So I don't need to know that, the house is made up of this person and that person, and this is the reason why it makes me sad because that and that and that happens. Children can walk into an environment and either feel safe or feel unsafe. They may not know why. right? So if they are able to read all these different cues from their environment, because remember learning, if we look at developmental theories, we look at learning theory.
Yeah.
Learning is a coping mechanism that we have in order to help us to cope with our environment.
Now, with regards to manipulation, are there different types of manipulation?
Kids are going to manipulate you at one or other time. And the reason they are doing that is because they're starting to develop their personality. They're starting to test the boundaries. They're starting to see, what can I get away with? What is possible?
So how do you correct or teach your child to not manipulate you?
Okay, so then the
boundaries.
The question is quite easy. The question is, are you manipulative yourself as a person? So you need to look in the mirror like Michael Jackson and say, okay,
who's the man in the mirror?
Who's the man or the woman in the mirror? Am I manipulative?
Yes.
Yeah? And if you are manipulative, then my suggestion to you is that you need to address that problem for yourself first.
Before you deal with the child.
Before you deal with the child. Yeah. Because guess what? Your child has been watching you from day one. Your child has been mirroring exactly what he's been seeing. He or she. They see this is how it works.
That's quite scary, Bradley.
It is scary,
I'm thinking
but
hard now.
It's beautiful because part of the magic and the ease of parenting is that it starts with you.
Yeah. So what would you say is your final words with regards to manipulation? Is it necessary? Is it natural?
Manipulation.
Final words
so this is what we need to get, Carol. Manipulation is a natural. Kids are playful. If you think back to your own childhood, you're playful. You test the boundaries. You'll see if you can get extra sweets from your grandmother. You can see if you can get. It's natural. It's part of the play. And my suggestion is that parents also play with their kids. Kids want to be played with. You need to play with your kids. But your boundaries need to be firm.
Got a question from our studio audience. Me, potsa gago?
Batsadi ba ka khona go ba le go nka power bone yang big go rather than go ba go ke bana ka nko.
The first thing is you say that I've noticed.
Do you say I noticed you being manipulative?
Oh, you don't need a finger.
Okay.
As an invitation, you say, hey, listen, you and I need to talk. When is a good time to talk? Can we talk now or would you want to talk later? Give your child that permission. And the child says, I'm busy playing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. So you can play for 10 more minutes and then you and I are going to have a talk. Because remember, it is not a CEO you are talking to, you're talking to your child. Right? You can be nice and give them extra 10 minutes to finish up with their friends. But when the sun is down and the streetlights go up, then the friends must go home, right? And then it's you and the child. And you sit and you look at each other, face to face, eye to eye, heart to heart, love to love. And then you say, listen, in my experience, I noticed that you were acting in this way because your friends were here.
I think I'd be more scared of my parents talking to me like that than la, 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 la.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
And then you say, but you see, even the use of the words, obviously you need to tailor your words to match your child's sophistication or maturity, huh?
Wonderfully said. Bradley, never thought of that way to speak to children. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
So you've heard for yourself that it's up to you as a parent to decide how you deal with your little ones when it comes to manipulation. Because you know what? It will happen. So it's up to you to decide what to do. Coming up, more Raising Babies 101. What to do when the unthinkable happens. Your child is being bullied. How do you help them? Welcome back to Raising Babies 101. But to let alone children are capable of situations where they need the most serious of first aid before emergency responders arrive on the scene. Kajenu, we take a look at a technique that all parents and caregivers should know. Easy peasy. CPR, and in studio to help me talk about this is Dr. Sinabo Vilakazi. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you, Carol.
All right, so what is CPR? Of course, abbreviation for something else.
In short, it's cardiopulmonary resuscitation, which in essence means that you're trying to restore the heart and the flow of blood within the body and to ensure that there's adequate ventilation and adequate circulation so that there is no brain deaths within a child. First thing is that you take your finger with say, a cloth and you put it in the mouth and just you wipe and remove any vomitus or anything in the mouth, 1. 2, you ensure that there's an adequate airway, because if the head is tilted down, the air is not flowing. So you want to make sure the head is leaning backwards, provided ngane yakho did not fall, okay? Because you can hurt the spine in the process. Okay, now once that is done, you locate by the sternum. There's what we call the xiphoid process.
Are we holding the head like this when we are doing it?
No. I just want to demonstrate.
Okay, let's put it down so that we understand. Otherwise, people will be holding the head.
So, xiphoid process with infants, 2 fingers, okay? Continuous CPR, 30 compressions. And how you go about it with infants is you want to go as far as 4 centimeters, because you don't want to compress too much. You just want to ensure that there's adequate blood flow.
So 4 centimeters where? Okay, so we push up 4 centimeters from the neck.
Yes, no, 4 centimeters, just at the xiphoid process.
So how push it too much?
Yeah, you don't push too much, just to compress the heart to ensure that the blood flow is consistent across the body.
Okay,
so now after 30 compressions, then you check pulse.
Okay, how check a pulse? We check
so you put on your neck, on the neck of the child, but one thing you don't do is use your thumb, because, excuse me, you will feel your own pulse. So you use your index finger and your middle finger, all right? And then you feel for the pulse, okay? And another thing that you do even before you begin those compressions is to check if the pulse is present.
So turn to check okay, doctor, this is very technical. So turn to rate step by step by step.
So step 1.
You check I tilt the head. The neck it must be like this.
No, wrong.
Wrong. What?
Wrong.
Already wrong.
First and foremost, we check pulse.
Oh, check pulse.
Let's check a pulse.
Okay.
If pulse is not present, now you open the airway, okay? And then do a finger sweep.
Okay.
To chin.
Yeah.
And then you give 2 breaths, okay? Not, remember, it's a baby, no, not a balloon, and they've got minute lines.
So those 2 breaths that you're doing, So?
Okay. 2. And you check for your pulse, okay? And then if it's not there, then you commence with your compressions, 30 compressions, sternum.
Sternum,
it's the middle part of the chest, okay? So 30 times, all right?
On more rib cage.
No, yeah, just above, in the middle, 30 times.
30 times.
And then you stop, give 2 breaths.
Do it for me, Arwand.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4,
so
5.
30 times?
You do it 30 times, and they must be regular. You don't go fast. They must be regular. The beats ought to be regular.
Okay.
Okay, and then stop.
Obofamoya.
Okay.
2.
You will check pulse. And then you do it consistently.
Now, I've also heard the chest when say pahame.
Yes, no, the chest will have to rise. Remember, because you've opened the airway, so the chest will rise when you are giving those 2 breath sounds.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's very, very important. And these are the little ones. Remember, again, time is of the essence.
Okay. Here's my little friend here who's a toddler. Kiyo Wanaka. Kiyo little Tabo.
Hello, my baby.
So, Tabo, is it the same procedure we berekisang le Tabo?
Tabo, it's a similar procedure, okay? The only difference now, because Tabo is much bigger, okay, now we use 1 hand instead of 2 fingers.
Okay.
Okay, so initially it used to be 15 compressions with 2 breaths, and then it was in cycles of 2.
The compressions still work at all.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Until 30?
No, 30 years. But same procedure. It's just the number of compressions and cycles of 4.
Okay. Ooh.
So, yeah.
Let me give it a bash. Now,
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, so, first, you check a pulse.
Good.
Not with this, but with this.
Of course.
There's no pulse, doctor.
Yes.
So,
Yes, open airway. Yes. Okay.
Then?
Airway opened.
Yebo.
Okay.
And then?
Okay.
Kere 1, 2, 3, high 30.
Yes.
And then? I check pulse. Repeat the process again. Check pulse, then no pulse.
We continue until help arrives.
Until help arrives.
Yes. That's how we go about it. That's CPR.
Any quick advice for batsadi ko gae on this CPR?
Young mothers, old mothers, the importance of first aid cannot be negated. Do yourself a favor and your child, most importantly, and go do that first aid course. It might sound tedious. Well, it depends where you do it.
But are there free courses that I can go to at the clinic or somewhere?
Not that I know of. However, I don't think we can put money, the value of life against money.
All right. I hear
life
you,
comes first.
Life comes first. Raleboga, doctor.
Not your wave, ne?
Doctor's got jokes, not my wave. Okay, Doc. Thank you very much, Doc. We appreciate it. Raleboga. Yanong kinakoya, baby shower. Okay, Bubukedi, as you have seen, Huhudi Sabana can be a very, very costly affair. To make life a little easier for you, segment ena ya baby shower. This week, we have a baby hamper voucher to give away. All you need to do is answer yes or no to one very simple question correctly. Can CPR save a baby's life? To enter this competition, when associates araba this simple question with a yes or no on our social media platforms. Answer correctly, and one lucky viewer will be randomly selected to win a baby hamper voucher valued at 1,000 Rand. The winner will be announced on our social media. Best of luck. Coming up, your little one is being bullied. What to do? And our letter for the day in Baby's Health A to Z. Kyale amogela gape mo Raising Babies 101. Ngwana gago o tla gae alla a re gona le ngwana o mo kgerisang. Do you personally attack the bully? Approach the bully's parents? Based on some incidents that went viral, we have seen how this can get out of hand between the parents too. Nonkululeko has this to say about her child who is also getting bullied. Harishep.
Hi, Raising Babies. My name is Nonkululeko Ramanira. I've got a 5-year-old daughter. Her name is Ronewa Ramanira. She's still in creche. I've got a problem where she comes back home crying, saying that the other kids are bullying her. So I've also identified it as bullying. I've left it for a long time, but now I see it's a problem. Because every day she came back saying she was being hit by one child. So I could see that, no, this is bullying. Because I first said, no, you must just fight back the first time, and then she couldn't, she came back. And then the second time it happened, the third time it happened, the fourth time I decided, no, I'm gonna go to school. I went to school, and then a meeting was called between me and the teachers, first of all. And then we tried resolving it, but it happened again. Then they eventually called the boy's parents. And then again, she came back to say there is a girl bullying her. And then I asked her, how is that girl bullying you? She said, no, she calls me names. She was demeaning to her. She was making her lose her self-esteem. I said to her, but how does she do that? She said to me, look at your shoes. They're the same color, just skin color, meaning she's very dark in complexion, I would say. And there's this thing going on that if you're light in complexion, you're the most beautiful one. So she couldn't understand why that girl would say that to her. So it really dropped her self-esteem, and it was very demeaning to her. So Raising Babies, if you could please help me with the tools to help my daughter to defend herself in a good way.
Being bullied is not a nice thing. We are joined again by clinical psychologist Bradley Daniels. Bradley, this is quite a sensitive topic because it seems the age of today, bullying has increased, and with the videos going viral, as I mentioned earlier, it's quite a scary thing. What do you have to say to Nonkululeko about her case specifically?
Okay, so we have to keep it simple, short and precise in terms of other parents can act on something which is actually it is a core problem in our society, right, affecting children, but later you'll see also affecting adults, and there's a whole system, it's a systemic problem. So the first thing in terms of to Nkululeko is don't leave it too long. I mean, I heard her talking about like 4 different approaches she's taken to try and solve it. Don't encourage your child to further violence.
Okay, so you shouldn't tell your child, stand up for yourself.
Hit them back. See if you can hit them back. See how far you can get. No, never. Because what are you perpetuating? You are perpetuating your child into a cycle of the trade-off for violence. So who's got a bigger fist, me or you? Let's see.
So what do you do?
So you tell your child, if you are in a situation where you are threatened, you need to go to the next adult that you trust, that has been appointed to take care of you. So when you send your child to school in the morning, you are entering a legal transaction. You are handing over curatorship of your child to the educators at the school. So they are the parent from that time to that time that they have agreed to have your child at school.
I know of cases where you're being bullied as a child, you're being bullied, you fight back. Most instances that I've experienced, the bully doesn't bully you anymore.
The risk is, what if you fight and you lose?
Eish. We got a question from our studio audience.
There's other parents who would say to the bully, like maybe unomoya or something, unomoya mubi or something like that. And then sometimes they would hit that boy or something like that instead of finding out, like you say, the core problem of the child and stuff. So what advice could you say or give to those kind of people?
Beautiful question. When the parents get involved, what do you say about that?
So you see, when the parents get involved, unfortunately, if you really sit back and you watch it, then you just see the fabric of the society that you are in. So, because it doesn't help to just reprimand the child. And in fact, there's this beautiful, I think if your viewers or if you Google it, there's this beautiful, beautiful experience of what they do to children that have behaved badly. So I think it's in an African village, and I'm not entirely sure of the facts now, but what they do if the child's behaved badly, they put the child in the middle, and everyone gathers around the child, and they remind the child that they're inherently good, that they are kind, and that they are beautiful, and they tell them all the beautiful things about themselves. So what a magical way of correcting behavior. We are not saying you are so bad, you are. Because when we're doing that, we are just building the negative. Now we're saying you are fundamentally good. You are a good person. You are beautiful. You are strong. You are mindful. You have a place on this earth. We care about you.
Beautiful. Right? That's absolutely beautiful. So what is your final words for Nonkululeko?
So for Nonkululeko, one, don't leave it too long. The minute your child is acting out of sorts, you need to find out what's happening. Your collateral, so this word is important to remember, collateral, where you gather your collateral. So something that I would do as a psychologist, I'll get collateral from the teachers to say, listen, I'm seeing child X, Y, Z with the permission of the parents and the child. I'm checking with you at the school. What's going on for this child school-wise, academically? Is there a change in performance? What have you noticed?
Thank you so much, Bradley. It is a big, big problem in our communities, bullying, and the way you've expressed it and how to deal with it is clearly a very nice step-by-step guide for Nonkululeko and others at home.
Thank you very much.
Do continue the conversation on bullying. Search Raising Babies 101 on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. For now, it's time for a quick ad break. Morago ga dipapatso, what is viral meningitis and how does it affect Ngwana wa hao? And then, Dishy Daddy, get rapper Reason.